teach well and sound doctrine that taught me to. All right, Shalom. Before we get started, as always, we want to give all praise, honor, glory, and worship to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushua, Bahasham, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, who teach well and sound doctrine that taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, and safety to the elect of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, pushing this word in humility and sincerity so that we can go home. The Wadi Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Kaya Rakah HaKadosh for the Holy Spirit to bring out this lesson, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. As you can see from the title, Apostle Tahar, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, commanded the brotherhood to go back to the basics, and get back to the breakdowns. We have to go back to the basics, and we have to do these breakdowns because you still have new people coming in who need the breakdowns, who sincerely want to learn the breakdowns, and are able to bear that meat. And so we have to put the meat on the table. So I'm going to go through Revelation, the 12th chapter. I'm going to break it down in its totality, Lord willing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai. And Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying. This is Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. So it says, let's read it again. Revelation 12 and 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet. That woman represents the nation of Israel. Okay. The Most High said he likened the daughter of Jerusalem to a comely and delicate woman. We'll get that in Jeremiah 6. Because we are married to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Our nation, specifically the men of our nation, is like a woman unto Yahweh Shemel Shai. It says Jeremiah 6 and 1. Let me see. Jeremiah 6 and 2. It says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Comely meaning attractive. Okay. It says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. Speaking about the entire nation. Okay. You can get one more in Jeremiah 3 and 14. And, like Apostle Tar said, this chapter is fairly simple as far as breaking it down goes. So I'm just going to breeze through it. I probably won't have to spend a lot of time. I'll get maybe 2, maybe 3 precepts for each verse, Lord willing. But it's a very simple chapter to break down. And then, Lord willing, I can come back maybe tomorrow with Revelation 13. All right. And Lord willing, maybe we can get through the majority of these main prophetic chapters within the scriptures. Now, this is Jeremiah 3 and 14. It says, turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, for I am married unto you. So Israel is married to the Lord. That's why Revelation 12 and 1 says, it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet. That woman is the nation of Israel. Okay, because we're married to the Lord. Okay. We follow other gods, which is how we committed spiritual fornication or spiritual adultery, okay, to the Yahweh Shem Shai. Therefore, he gave us a bill of divorce and put us away. That's why we needed Yahweh Shai to come, okay, to give us reconciliation, to put us back on good terms with the Lord, because we went off and we served other gods and we, committed adultery. This is Jeremiah 3 and 14. It says, turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and 2 of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. So the Lord is coming back for those few. Okay, so he's going to take us one of a city and 2 of a family. Jeremiah 3 and 8. And I saw when all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. So both Israel, which represents the northern kingdom, so-called Hispanics, Native Americans, and Native Americans, Mexicans. Okay, that's the tribe of the tribes of Israel, I should say. Okay, and then the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians. Okay, both of them together committed adultery, and the Lord wrote us a bill of divorce. So when you get to Revelation 12:1, it says, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet. The sun and the moon represents the wisdom and the knowledge, okay, that's under the nation of Israel's feet. Okay, the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures, which was only given to the nation of Israel. Psalms, bear with me real quick. I didn't plan on pulling this one. Psalms 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh B'Shem Shah. So the Lord gave these laws, statutes, and commandments, this sun and this moon, this wisdom and this knowledge and understanding to the nation of Israel only. Okay. And they said that though that wisdom and knowledge was under our feet, right? Psalms 119. Bear with me. I think it's 104. Select. Because it said that the sun and the moon was under our feet, which I told you that sun and that moon represents wisdom and knowledge. Psalms 119 and 105 is what I want. It says Psalms 119, verse 105. It says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet. Okay? The word, the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding. All right? That's that brightness. The wisdom causes a man's face to shine. Wisdom is a shining force. Okay, so that gives light. It's a lamp. It says, thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Right. Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 4. Proverbs 4 and 18. It says, but the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more perfect unto the day. So that shining light is for the nation of Israel via this wisdom and understanding. Revelation 12 and 1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Now these 12 stars represent the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay. Let's go to Genesis 37. Genesis 37 and verse, let me find the verse. Genesis 37 and 5. So like it says, Genesis 37 verse 5, and Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Now Joseph was the son of Jacob, or one of the sons of Jacob, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, and Joseph was given dreams. Okay, because that's a good scripture. The water. Baruch, brother Kadash SOZ, Baruch 4:1. This is the book of the commandments of Yahweh and the law that endureth forever. All that keep it shall come to life, and such as leave it shall die. Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Right. So that wisdom and that knowledge is that light from the scriptures, from the word that was only given to the nation of Israel. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet. Okay. And the moon gives its own light. You know, like Elder Apostle Gabar said, man. You know, Esau will tell you that the moon only has a light because it's reflected off of the sun. That's not true. The moon produces its own light. Okay, but it's a lesser light. This is Genesis 37 and 5. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more. Now Joseph was one of the 12 sons of Jacob. Amongst the 12, Jacob had more than 12 sons, but he was amongst the 12. I mean, it's like, Jacob just had 12 sons. I'm thinking of someone else. It says, verse 6, and he said unto them, hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. Right. So Joseph had a dream that they were binding sheaves in the field. Okay. and all of their, which a sheaf is just a tool, an agricultural tool or a farming tool, and each sheaf, each brother of the 12 had a sheaf, and their chiefs bowed down to Joseph's sheaf. Okay, the word obeisance means to bow down to. So he had a dream that basically, metaphorically, his brothers was bowing down to him. It says, verse 8, and his brethren said to him, shalt thou indeed reign over us? And shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. So his brothers was jealous, okay? They were jealous of Yahusap, which is Joseph. Verse 9, and he dreamed yet another dream and told it his brethren and said, behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. You see, the stars represent each of the sons of Jacob, okay? Joseph being the 12th, which Joseph is another name for Ephraim, okay, so-called Puerto Ricans, Aparayim in the Hebrew, which is Joseph. So when you read in Revelation, it says 12,000 from the tribe of Joseph. That's talking about Ephraim. Okay, Revelation 12:1, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Again, those are the 12 tribes of Israel. Keep that in mind. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Okay, she, being with child, cried in pain to be delivered. That child is talking about Yahushua. Okay, but let me get this. Matthew 11, because the nation of Israel was being oppressed by the Roman army. Okay, during this time there was a great oppression because they were trying to stop the coming of the Messiah. Matthew 11 and verse 11, it says, verily I say unto you, among I'll read this. It says, among them that are born of women, there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. So what does that mean? That don't mean that John the Baptist wasn't in the truth, ISUPK. That means that there have not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. So that's what was going on. Okay, that's why it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. It's like it, verse 2, Revelation 12:2. And she, being with child, meaning the Messiah was yet prophesied to come, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. Okay, being oppressed. It says, verse 3, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon her heads. So these 7 heads represent kingdoms, okay, and these 10 horns represents nations. Okay, now you have 2 sets of the 7 heads and the 10 horns. You have the I don't want to say ancient, because it's not quite ancient, but you have the old names that they were referred to, and you have the modern names that they were referred to. Now the 10 horns represent the United Nations. I mean, Salakia. I said the United Nations. Salakia. That's not what it means. The 10 horns represents the European Union, EU. Okay, that's what I'm thinking about. And those nations is Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Greece, Spain, England, West Germany, Luxembourg, and Netherlands. And these are all Edomite nations. Okay, this great red dragon is all kingdoms of Esau, Edom. Okay, it says the 10 horns, once again, Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Greece, Spain, England, West Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands. Write that down. All right. Here, I'll show it on the screen real quick. Just bear with me 2 seconds. Okay. I don't know how well you can see that, but those are the 7 heads and the 10 horns there. So, you screenshot that, do whatever you got to do. And those nations, those 10 horns, the European Union, are a part of the beast. And America is the whore that rideth the beast. Now, Revelation 12:3, it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, all right, which Esau, holy, or the Edom, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads. Now, the 7 heads, Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Spain, or the Spanish, the French, and Britannia. Okay, Greece, Rome, Germania Major, Germania Minor, Spanish, the French, and Britannia, Britain. It says, and these are the I'm giving you the modern names. Now, if you want the old names, let's see, I can give you the old names. And there's maps with this very same. Lord willing, I'll print out the map with it. I didn't think to print it out before this lesson, so Salakia. But it says, so the ancient 7 heads are Heruli, Lombards, Visigoths. This is the 7 heads. Heruli, Lombards, Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Suevi, the Franks, and the Anglo-Saxons. The 10 horns, the ancient names will be Burgundians, and this is basically what, like, for example, Belgium, Burgundians, Denmark, Heruli. This is just the names of the land masses and the names that those cultures went by. It says Franks, Alemanni, Subai or Suevi, Visigoths, Lombards, Vandals, Anglo-Saxons, and Ostrogoths. Okay, but now they go by these modern names. And now Esau has divided even more with his nationalism, you know. But anyway, so there's the 7 heads and the 10 horns. Now, verse 4, Revelation 12:4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the great dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. So this great dragon again, Esau, Edom, okay? And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, the 3rd part of the stars of heaven being a part of the nation of Israel. But a 3rd of the nation of Israel is talking about Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which was cast into captivity. Okay? Which was cast into captivity. Now, the book of Revelation jumps around. All right? The Bible is not in chronological order. The prophecies are manifold, and some of them speak on multiple time periods. So you have to be able to extrapolate. It says Revelation 12:4, and his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth, which means cast them into captivity. Okay? It says, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Right? Because what you have to understand is that the nation of Israel, the majority of the 10 tribes were already on the western hemisphere. It was just Judah, Benjamin, and Levi that was left in Jerusalem. Okay, and Herod, who was the ruler at that time, Herod was seeking to kill the Messiah, all right, as soon as he was born. That's why it says, and the dragon stood before the woman, trying to interfere, okay, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. You see, so it was that time for the prophecy to be fulfilled, but they were trying to stop it. They were trying to slay Yahushua. All right, now let's deal with the first half, that it drew the 3rd parts of heaven. I mean, the 12. So let me read it again. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven. We're going to deal with that. We're going to go to Luke 21 and 24. It says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. That's what that's talking about. All right, Israel being led away captive into all nations. What else? Yeah, Matthew 2. Matthew 2:11. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of Yahweh in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, notice that Joseph got a dream, and Joseph in Genesis got a dream. But hey, it says, and when they were departed, the angel, that's not doctrine, and I'm just making an observation. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. And when he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, out of Egypt I have called my son. So no, the Lord was not an Egyptian. The Lord's people was not Egypt. All right, that prophecy was fulfilled here via Joseph fleeing into Egypt and then returning from Egypt after Herod was dead. Verse 16, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old under, which he slew all the male children. He didn't go around killing all of them. He went around killing the male specifically because they were expecting the Messiah. He knew that the Messiah was on the scene. It says, St. Matthew 2:16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, pissed off, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. So that's what it means when it says that, and the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Speaking about Herod. Verse 5, and she brought forth a man child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was cast up, and her child was caught up unto the Most High, into his throne. Now that's talking about Yahushua being back up, translated into the chariot. I'm not going to go to that. That's simple. You can go to Acts, the 1st chapter, the 8th verse, and read about the Lord. Also, you can go to Colossians. Well, I'll get one. Because like I said, this is a very simple breakdown, you know. So like it's a new Bible, so bear with me. Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Hamashiach, seek those things which are above, where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of Yahweh. Right. So he was caught up, all right, via that chariot, that cloud in Acts, the 1st chapter. And she brought forth a man child, meaning the Messiah came, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto the Most High and to his throne. Right. Yahushua is going to rule the nations with a rod of iron. That's pursuant to Psalms, the 2nd chapter. Psalms chapter 2, verse 8, ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron, and thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. And who's that talking about? It's talking about Yahushua. You jump down to verse 12, it says, kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way. And when his wrath is kindled but a little, blessed are all they that put their trust in him. Speaking on the Son, Yahushua. All right. Revelation 12:6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of Yahweh, that they should feed her 1,260 days. So that wilderness is talking about Africa. Okay. That wilderness is talking about us fleeing into Africa. We read it earlier, but I'll read it again. Luke 21:24. No, Luke 21:21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. So where is he telling us to flee? Into the mountains of Africa, okay, which was the wilderness, the jungle. All right, and then the latter wilderness is America. This place was a complete wilderness before the so-called white man got his hands on it. All right. It says 21, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, which it means into Africa, Okay, let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them which are in the countries enter in there too. Enter therein. It says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of Yahweh, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Talking about this white man spoiling us, man. All right, this place was prepared by Yahweh Shemel Shai. The Lord said that He sent our enemies against us. Okay, and He brought us here into Babylon because it's here that we shall be delivered. That's in the book of Micah. Okay, but while we're here, the Lord put the spirit on Esau to spoil us. Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? Is he his homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? So he provided everything for us. All right, from the time that we got off the boats, Esau Edom has has nourished us, as it's gonna say. I believe that's in this chapter. But anyway, let's continue to read. It says, Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So now you have a war going on in heaven. Is this talking about Satan fighting against the angels, Satan's angels fighting against the angels of the Lord up in heaven? That's not what this is saying. This is a representation of what goes on the planet Earth and what is going to happen on the planet Earth. It says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So this is just fast forwarding now all the way into a time that has yet to happen. That's going to happen soon come. Okay, so that's how the Lord's time is not like our time. So the Lord can speak on a situation that was thousands of years ago, and in the next verse speak on a situation that is yet to come to pass, because to the Lord it's all in close proximity anyway. It says Revelation 12:7, and there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. So that war in heaven is speaking about Esau, America, and their space force. Okay, fighting against the chariots of the Lord, the angels of the Lord. All right, because this devil is psychotic. It says, and there was war in heaven. Right. Let's go to Isaiah 34. Flip right to it. That's spirit. Isaiah 34:5. It says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. Right. Why is this sword going to be bathed in heaven? Because there's going to be a war in heaven. All right, via the aircrafts of Esau and Moab, all these various nations and their militaries against the angels and the chariots of the Lord. Let's go to Isaiah. Gotta find this. Bear with me. What is that? What is that, Lord? Damn. The Lord said, as birds flying, as birds flying, because the Lord's gonna fight with these chariots. Now I'm gonna get 2nd Ezra the 13th chapter, but I'm trying to find this other one in Isaiah, man. What is that? All right, Salaki. But you could search it in your own time. The scriptures in Isaiah, it says, as birds flying, so will the Lord defend Jerusalem. Okay, which is talking about those chariots and that war that's going to take place in the Shemayim. Okay, and Esau is going to fail miserably. All right, I can't find it. Let's go to 2nd Ezra 13. And this is dealing with when Yahushua returns in the middle of World War III. Yahushua is going to return. And you're going to have these various nations fighting against each other in World War III. But when they see the angels, the so-called aliens, when they see the UFO invasion, they're going to stop battling each other and they're going to start fighting Yahushua. Okay, and that's gonna be that war in heaven where Michael is going to stand up, okay, and defend Jerusalem. And how they're going to do it? They're going to do it as birds flying, as I said before. It's lucky because I didn't even think about that verse until I got to doing this lesson. So it's lucky. But you know, if somebody want to post on the comment board, call like Isaiah. Yeah, I ain't gonna be able to find it. It might not even be in Isaiah, but I'm almost 100% sure it is. Now this is 2nd Ezra 13. 2nd Ezra 13, and damn, I'm gonna just read through it real quick. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, a destruction from the sea. The sea is talking about the outer space. It says, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. That's those chariots. All right, it's going to be thousands of them. It says, and that man waxed strong, which is Yahushua, with the thousands of heaven. And when I turned his countenance, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, they all burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. After this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. That's talking about the other nations. All right. They're going to try to subdue Yahushua. They're going to try to defeat the chariots. Okay. To eliminate the enemy. That's what they're going to try to do. But they're going to lose. It says that's that war in heaven in Revelation 12 and 7. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea, because this is going to be a war of humanity. He shows you that in his movies all the time. I don't have to mention them. It says to subdue the man that came out of the sea, meaning out of outer space, because the sea, you have the waters above and the waters below. The sea is the waters above. And I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. That's how you know it's not an actual mountain, because he flew upon it. It's talking about the fathership. Verse 7, 2nd Ezra 13 and 7. But I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. Meaning what? The chariot was so big that he couldn't see where it began and where it ended. It filled the entire sky as far as his eye could see. It says, I would have seen the region or place where out the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they were gathered together to subdue him, and were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. You see? So the nations are going to be afraid, but they're going to be terrified, they're going to tremble, but the Lord is still going to put the spirit in them to fight. Why the Lord put the spirit in them to fight a battle that they would never win in 1,000 million trillion years? Because it's prophecy. It's a part of his word. Okay, Revelation 12 and 7, and there was war in heaven. So just to recap, the red dragon is not Satan underground with a pitchfork. It's not Satan in the spirit realm. The red dragon is Esau, Edom, and his power structure, the Roman Empire, and then now NATO and the EU, the 7 heads and the 10 horns. And now there was a war in heaven, meaning what? Meaning a war within this rulership, but also in the upper atmosphere. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Esau fought back and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. So he's not going to win. Verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. I mean, what? He's going to be taken into captivity. He's going to be cast out of the earth. Okay? He's going to be brought down to hell. Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stir up for the dead. It's like it stir up the dead for thee. Even all the chief ones of the earth, they have raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nation. All they that speak, so like it, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? This is what the nations are going to say when Esau is cast into the earth. Okay, which also represents him being exposed. But mainly it's talking about him going into captivity. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and thy noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? The word Lucifer means light bearer or illuminated ones. The light bearer right now is Esau Edom. He holds the light of this world because this world was given into his hand, into his power. So it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? How are you cast unto the earth? How are you become as weak as the other nations? Because you're all going to be servants and handmaids, but you're going to be the lowest of servants in the kingdom. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, because this dragon, Esau Edom, his spirit goes back to the spirit of the serpent, all the way back in Genesis. Okay, which, like I be saying, back then Esau, when Esau's spirit was dwelling in the serpent, he was just a man with an opinion. Now he's this great dragon that has a whole entire system that rules the planet Earth with that false vain opinion. Okay, so now he's turned into a fire-breathing dragon. He's also referred to as Leviathan, which is an actual fire-breathing dragon that the Lord created. Revelation 12:9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan. The word devil means deceiver. The word Satan means adversary, which deceiveth the whole world. Why? Because he's the devil. He was cast into the earth, right? And his angels were cast out with him, meaning his rulership is going to be taken out. He's not going to have a place in heaven, because it's going to become the heaven of the Israelites. See, this is our hell and this is his heaven. But soon come, we're going to be in heaven and he's going to be in hell. 2 Peter 3:13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. So the Lord is not going to do away with the whole entire planet. He's going to do away with the management that runs the planet, which is Esau Edom currently, the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world via his false doctrines, his false religions, okay? His image of the beast, or his democracy, his religion, his idolatry, his homosexuality, his lies, his adultery, his covetousness, his financial systems, his fiat currency, his so-called patriotism, his nationalism, all right, his want and covetousness for natural resources, all right, his Hollywood, his entertainment, his media, his music, his political system, so-called democracy, okay, the division, and his military, all right, and the murder, the rape, rob, and murder, all right, all these things he used to deceive the world, all right. It says, verse 10, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. See, Esau accuses us, okay? He puts us in a position to sin. You know, he takes away all of our livelihood. You know, he put us in chains. He fed us shrimp, pork, crab, and lobster. He told us that Yahushua was a white boy named Jesus. All right, and then we started to pray to these things, and then Esau and his witches and warlocks, all right, they prayed to the Father in Hebrew. You know, they put curses on the Israelites in Hebrew, praying that the Lord would not remember his promise. Okay, it says, now has come salvation and strength, verse 10, and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse him for our power day and night, because the kingdom of heaven can't be established until this man is cast down. That's the only way. Real quick, I'll get 3. Isaiah 14, 2 Ezra 4, and Psalms 91. Bear with me 2 seconds. 2 Ezra 4, Isaiah 14, and Psalms 90, not 91, Psalms 90. Lord, when I can find Psalms 90. Now this is Isaiah 14 in verse, because it said we read here, for the accuser of a brother is cast down, right? That's when the kingdom is going to come, when this man is cast down and taken out of the way, which also reminds me of 2 Thessalonians. I'll get that instead of a song. 2 Thessalonians 2. Isaiah 14, verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how have the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruleth the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. So even the plants, the trees, the animals, they're going to rejoice. They're going to say, since this man who created deforestation has been taken out of the way, no feller, the word feller means someone who chops down or falls trees. So no feller has come up against us anymore. We're actually able to grow like we're supposed to. We're actually able to give oxygen, H2O, to the planet Earth. All right, the trees are going to rejoice when this man is taken down. That's why it's going to be spirits in heaven rejoicing. You know, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, and of his anointed, because the accuser of our brethren is cast down. All right, which accused us day and night. Also, let's see, Psalms 50. I need more Bibles. Psalms 50. And verse 19, it says, thou givest thy mouth to evil, speaking about the wicked, Esau, Edom. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. That's talking about us, Jacob. They sit and they speak against us, man. Okay? They plot against us, and then they accuse us to the Heavenly Father. All right? As if they're not oppressing us, oppressing the majority of our nation to allow them to go off. But they cannot deceive the elect, pursuant to Matthew 24. All right? It says Isaiah 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? How hast thou, Salakia, 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. Who are the stars of Yahweh? The 12 stars are the nation of Israel. They've exalted themselves over the Israelites. They've oppressed us, okay? So they have to be taken down, because if they wasn't, they would oppress us in the kingdom of heaven. Or they would think to oppress us in the kingdom of heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Because they want to be like Yahweh. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the whole earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Yeah, man, you're going to be the joke that you are. People are going to be astonished that they actually allowed you to walk the planet Earth and do what the hell you was doing, terrorizing and bombing, constantly bombing the Middle East. People are going to be confounded at themselves about how you were able to do that. But they're going to realize that the way that you were able to do that is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shah raising you up, the same way that he raised Pharaoh up. And Pharaoh got proud and thought that he was the only one doing it. But you're not. You know, you're going to be brought down. I thought of one more, Malachi 1:4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, when they were in the Caucasus Mountains, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. So this man has to be cast down, man. The Lord's going to throw. You know how it feels when you throw somebody down? Or you know how it feels to be thrown down? and then your head smack the concrete, head smack the pavement, you could die. Well, Esau, you about to die. Because the Lord throw you down, it's a real throwdown. It says, thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them, talking about who? The whole nation of Edom, them. It's not talking about Esau. Oh, it's just talking about the man Esau. No, it said them. And they shall call them who? The Edomites. All right? Not every so-called white person. You got Israelites, they be out there talking about, all so-called white people going into slavery. That's right. Where is that in the scriptures? Where is that in the scriptures, man? All Edomites going into slavery. You need to get your facts straight. You other camps need to get your facts straight, man. Because you got Israelites that look like white people. So stop saying that. And they shall call them the border of wickedness and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. You see? So ain't no way Esau can get out of the righteous anger or the righteous hatred that Yahweh Shah has for him. One more. 2nd Ezra 4, verse 27. 2nd Ezra 4, 8:28. I'll get straight to the point. But as concerning the things whereof thou askest me, I will tell thee. For the evil is sown, and the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, all right, this man be not cast down, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Then the kingdom of heaven can't come. Okay, one more. 2 Thessalonians 2, verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. It says, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. You see? Only he who now letteth. Who's that? That's Yahweh Shem Shah. They're allowing you, they're letting you do what you do until you be taken out of the way. All right, when you're going to be taken out of the way, when Yahweh Shah come back with the thousands of heaven and you try to make war with him and you fail miserably, it's going to be a flawless victory. Revelation 12 and 10. That's why you got your Space Force. That's why Donald Trump created the Space Force, to fight against Yahweh Shemel Shah. Why the hell would you make a Space Force to fight against the angels that created you? Only the so-called white man. Only the crazy white boy, the Edomite, the red man. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his anointed, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb, who? The elect. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. That's how we overcome our sins, our debts, and by the word of their testimony, which is this doctrine of Yahweh Shah that was given to the elders and apostles, a great millstone. All right. It says, by the word of their testimony, and they love not their lives unto the death, meaning some of us are going to have to die for this, and we're going to be okay with that because we're going to be raised up and we're going to receive everlasting life. Verse 12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. So now this is the time that we're living in, okay, amongst other prophecies. But this is one of the times that we're living in, the devil coming down with great wrath because he knows that he had but a short time. And again, it's not talking about a man underground with a red pitchfork, as we've explained throughout this lesson. But let me get one more precept dealing with that great wrath. Revelation 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, right? And they love not their lives unto the death. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So this devil is going to cast majority of us into prison. Okay, he's going to come down hard on the nation of Israel. He's going to come in with that flood. Isaiah 59. Isaiah 59 and 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah shall lift up a standard against him. All right, because this devil is about to break in with these martial law troops, all right, with these FEMA troops, with these mandatory everything. All right, he's about to make life very hard for anyone trying to serve the Lord. All right, and that's a part of that flood. Okay, his system, this beast system that he's setting up, that is completely antichrist system, that is completely contrary to the ways of Yahweh Shem Shai. So in order to survive in this system, you're going to have to trust the Lord, because if you participate, it's going to come a point in time where if you participate any longer in the system, you would have forsaken the Lord in order to do it. It says Revelation, which that's when we're going to get into the 13th chapter, Lord willing, tomorrow. And that's when it's going to speak about how this system is evolving into something that is going to make you choose between Yahweh Shemel Shai and worshiping the system, being a servant of the system. Revelation 12:12, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, which the heavens is talking about the nation of Israel, for the kingdom of heaven dwelleth in you. That's what the Lord told his disciples. It says, and of the sea. The sea represents all the other nations, kindreds, and tongues. That's pursuant to Revelation 17 and 15. All right. The sea is the waters were nations, people, kindreds, and tongues. Revelation 17 and 15. It says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. Jacob's trouble, which we're in the middle of Jacob's trouble right now. But Jacob's trouble is going to consume the entire United States. You got Texas feeling Jacob's trouble, Venezuela, Chile, all these various South American countries are already in the midst of Jacob's trouble. Now Texas, they saying next is going to be California that's getting hit with these blackouts. And, we don't know who could be next. We don't know what this devil's going to do next, but we know it's going to be require, or I should say it's going to be with great wrath, whatever he does. Verse 13, Revelation 12 and 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast up unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man child, that great wrath. Okay, he's going to persecute the woman which brings forth the man child, which is speaking about the nation of Israel. All right, which brought forth the man child. 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might flee into the wilderness. Now again, now we're going to rewind a thousand years back to when Israel was given 2 wings like an eagle and would flee into the wilderness. This wilderness is talking about America. It says, and the women were given 2 wings of a great eagle. They were carried into America by Esau Edom, who represent himself with the eagle. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, flee into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Yeah, we're nourished here. We're spoiled here. That's my second time mentioning that, so let me get it. We're spoiled here in America. We were given we didn't. They gave us clothes. They fed us. They worked us. They ain't pay us no money, but they did nourish us. So that's what it says when it says that that she might flee into the wilderness, which is talking about this wilderness is talking about America, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a times from the face of the serpent. Meaning what? Meaning we were nourished by the serpent from the face of this devil. Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? So Israel is spoiled. Israel has been nourished here. Section 8 food stamps with I don't know, whatever government programs that they have. They put our nation in poverty just so that they can nourish them, so that they can be dependent on them, so that when they pull away that aid, that nourishment, Israel not going to know what to do, and that time is coming. It says where she is nourished for a time and times and half a times from the face of the serpent. Can you imagine if they just cut, all government assistance right now, child support, food stamps, all that? Can you imagine the uproar and the amount of poverty that will multiply and increase? Because ultimately, because our nation does not, they haven't been designed, because a nigga was created. They were created on a plantation, so they haven't been designed to work together, to survive together as a nation, to come together. Everybody's so independent. Everybody is, I do it myself, self-made this, self-made that. I don't need a man. Fuck these bitches. Whatever the mindset is, it's not equipped so that when this government assistance stops, for everything to just go on and self-sustain the way that it once was. So verse 15, and the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood, after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood, which the flood mainly represents Esau and his military, his martial law, his army. Okay, the enemy coming in like a flood, but it could also represent his deceit. All right, his deceit that he has ruled the earth with to conquer the nation. That Israel was carried away by those floods. Okay, let me read again. And the serpent was cast out of his mouth water as a flood, which that can also deal with his lies. Like I said, that he might cause her to be carried away of the flood. So Israel was carried away of the flood, okay, led astray. But chiefly it's talking about the enemy coming in like a flood, the martial law. It says 16, and the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. Right. So you have various dealing with the first half of the breakdown. Salaki, I can't hold it. I'll be right back. I got tissue. Salaki. So dealing with the first half, it says in the earth help the woman, right? Because you have times now this technology has been increased. Esau he searches out and he digs up everything. So you have various archaeological proof. You have stones of jakes with waves in their hair and woolly hair imagery. That's the earth helping the woman. That's the earth overcoming those lies. Okay, it says, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the earth is also going to help because Yahweh Shemel Shah is going to come back and set up that standard against the flood, the enemy coming in like a flood. Revelation 12 and 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, okay, which are the elect. They're making war. All of this is about the elect, trying to defile the elect so that the elect will not be sealed. So Yahweh Shemel Shah will pass over the planet Earth with his chariots and not deliver the elect. If they can put a chip in the elect and defile all of the elect, then they could indeed recover the birthright. The only problem is that's not written. It's not written for you to put a chip in the elect and defile every member of the elect so that the birthright could be passed back to Esau. That's not written. Therefore, it's not going to happen. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, the elect, because only the elect is going to be saved. Only the elect is going to return to Yahweh Shemel Shah. That's what we're out here for, the remnant. We're out here for the 1, the 2, 3 people that watch the live stream. We're not out here for 18 people, to be at the camp standing out 18. You got 18, 20 people standing in front of the camp listening. That's never going to happen because this is only for a very small remnant. Isaiah 11, Isaiah 10, Isaiah 10 and 21. It says, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power. For though thy people Israel be as the sand of the sea, yet a remnant of them shall return. So it's only going to be a small number that actually returns. That's the elect. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. So only a remnant is going to return out of this sand of the sea. Just a small remnant of it is going to return. And the dragon was wroth with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. Ultimately, the dragon is wroth right now because we're exposing him. His lies are being cast out. Okay? His lies are being cast out with truth. It says, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. That's the elect, man. Only the elect have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. All right? Only the elect have the true testimony because ultimately it's all about the elect. Yeah, they would love to oppress and exterminate all the Israelite camps, but really their main target is the elect. It says, which keep the commandments of Yahweh, which are Israelites. So that the main persecution is going to come upon Israelites. All right, you have some hardcore Christians that actually keep the commandments, but this main persecution, this main war that he's going to wage is going to be against the elect, and ultimately the ones that are on sound doctrine, which are the like-minded men of Great Millstone and the like-minded men. It says, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. That's why CBS News had the report about social media market, MOB and microchip conspiracies on social media via religious groups. Who is that talking about? That's only talking about us. None of these other camps, all these other camps tell you that the mark of the beast is spiritual. It's not talking about them. They're not going into the gates of the nobles. All right, this doctrine is going into the gates of the nobles because this is the truth. So this is the actual doctrine that they have to wage war against. This is the doctrine that they have to put their lives up against to try to stop this truth. All right, they're not worried about the spiritual mark breakdown, and they're not worried about, because that's not the truth. If it was the truth, they would be worried about it, but it's not. All right. So hey, I think that's the whole chapter, and Lord willing, I want to do either 11 or 13 tomorrow. So, we'll see how the Spirit goes, if the Spirit allow me to do it. Lord, when this edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel, I want to say, Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rachak Kodash, Nathan Mashanakabah, Lahazakom, Yahshua, Gadar Rakab, which means give double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Washalawam, Lahata Kakawa, Bachayar. All right. And peace to the elect of the nation of Israel. Kwame Shalom.